Covering the latest in wrestling, entertainment, and beyond since 2011, the RCWR Show, Night 2, back-to-back nights that we're here for you guys, coming at you on April 2nd, 2019. What is going on, guys? WrestleMania week is here. WrestleMania 35 week, it's here. You know how the other promotions are capitalizing on it. If you are a fan of all things wrestling, you're in the right place, because we're definitely going to give you guys the hookup, let you know what all is going on with some of your favorite wrestling promotions, or some of those promotions you've been eyeing for a while. And hey, we're going to give you the skinny. As always, appreciate you guys that check us out, be it live, on demand, or on the downloads. We got a solid, it's a jam-packed wrestling edition, and it makes a lot of sense in the world, it being WrestleMania week and all. So kick on back, have a nice, tall, cool, cold one, and enjoy. Always love interacting with you guys. Get at me. A couple of outlets. We've got the Twitter. We've got the Facebook. We've got the Instagram. Use the keywords, the RCWR Show. We've also got the Discord chat that's going on right now. And we're just seeing how things work out. All right, some of y'all might have noticed we opened up the YouTube comments again during the live stream. That's just temporarily. We're going to see how it plays out for the next little bit. I am paying attention to that and everything. But if you were to ask me straight up where you should be really kind of going, I think it depends. If you already have the access to the Discord, keep doing what you're doing in the Discord, because I'm not going to make the live chat be a standard every single time I go live. I figured with WrestleMania week and all that, a lot of people maybe wanted to chime in their thoughts, all that. So it's going to kind of be rare that I roll out the feature on YouTube. We are streaming live, not just on YouTube. A lot of people have the misconception all we do is YouTube. But truth be told, and longtime listeners know this, there was a couple of years that we actually took time away from YouTube and just focused on the live audio stream version of the RCWR Show and just been building that up. And so we don't only stream on YouTube, we also stream on Spreaker. We also stream via the RCWR Show app that's available for free in the Google Play Store. Just use the keywords, the RCWR Show. We saw Smackdown go off the air. Definitely going to get into that in a hot second. Now, for those of you that missed the Monday night show, y'all are going to be a little bit disappointed because we're not going to be talking about Raw. I pretty much did a Raw after show that was about an hour long, less than 24 hours ago, and that was a lot of fun to do. If you guys did not get a chance to check that out, piggy on back after you get done with this one and check it out. If anything, there is probably one thing that I did not touch upon from Raw that I did want to talk about. It has to do with Finn Balor, but other than that, everything was laid out on that Raw after show. And you know the deal by now. We come at you guys when it's WrestleMania week, and we usually pump out a boatload of episodes for you guys. We got some special programming notes that's going to be coming up, as well as giving you guys the 411 on how you can see me and the beautiful and the lovely Tammy in person, as we're going to be hitting the road once again. Not going to be going too far, just technically going to be going down the street, but it's a yearly tradition we've been doing the past couple of years. We'll give you the skinny on that in just a Raw after show. Whoa. You know the deal by now. You guys are supposed to tell me that there's audio. Like, oh my god, that's ridiculous. I hope you guys didn't hear that. Damn. I just now noticed that frickin' the YouTube stream was playing in the other tab, so I have no idea if you guys even heard what the hell I had said just now. Should we maybe edit that for you guys? Yeah? I think we should do a take two just in case, right? that was crazy. Don't worry, I'll edit that out later. What's going on, guys? You're checking out the RCWR Show. Lee Sanders here. We're covering the latest in wrestling, entertainment, and beyond since 2011. WrestleMania week, it's here, man. We're just a couple of days away. Are you excited? I'm excited. I'm freaking pumped. Hey, man, appreciate you guys that's going to be checking out the show live for the next little bit, be it live, on demand, or on the downloads. As always, make sure you have done so already. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Use the keywords, the RCWR Show. A lot of stuff we're going to be getting into. This episode is definitely going to be a heavy-oriented wrestling episode. So if you guys are looking to take a little bit of a break from the politics and all that, you've come to the right place. let me tell you. So, you may have noticed we've got the YouTube chat opened up. Don't get used to it. For those of you that are longtime listeners and you were given the Discord hookup, because that's where we're doing a big bulk of the interacting with you all, continue to go about it that way. I just figured with WrestleMania week, we'd roll it out for you all. So a lot of cool programming notes we're going to be diving into later on in the show, because we got a lot of content that's going to be pumping out all this week. All right. So I love this time of the year. It keeps me busy. It keeps me out there, keeps me interacting with you guys. Love, 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 love. Love it. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. RCWR Show is going to be hitting the road once again. Give you the skinny on that in a little bit. You'll be able to meet me and the missus, the beautiful, the lovely Tammy. Give you the 411 on that in just a hot second. Interact. Got the YouTube chat. We got the Discord. We got the Twitter. We got the Facebook. We got the Instagram. What else we got? We got the RCWR Show app. You know, we're streaming not just on YouTube. We're streaming on our own show app, and we're streaming via Spreaker. So you got lots of ways to try and communicate. We're definitely going to talk about Smackdown. A couple of seconds. For Raw, you might have missed it. We came on Monday night, less than 24 hours ago. We did a Raw recap. Pretty much got all the points I wanted to cover on that, with the exception Finn Balor. There was a little bit I wanted to touch upon with Finn Balor. But other than that, we're pretty much going to talk about SmackDown and some other tidbits. Let's jump right into it. All right. So, SmackDown tonight, I gotta say, pretty strong episode. Came to us from Baltimore, Maryland. Still part of the whole DMV area, DC, Maryland, Virginia. Not the Department of Motor Vehicles. Here in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, us residents, we just say DMV. And we've been that way for decades now. All right. I gotta say, I enjoyed this go-home show, and as is the point that I usually make on the show, SmackDown always delivering a home run. For the most part, overall, a very enjoyable, a very good, watchable show. I can't help but wonder, though, if they're going to be able to keep that same momentum going once they make the move to Fox. And the only reason why I'm saying that, for a lot of you guys, it's duh, but it's not so much wait a minute now, wait a minute. The reason why I put that question out there is because rumblings, just take it with a grain of salt, probably nothing, but there's rumblings that when they make the move to Fox, there's going to be 2 hours on Fox and potentially a third hour. But a third hour would be maybe on FS1. Yeah, how about that? I wasn't going to talk about that until later on, but since SmackDown just went off the air, and it kind of makes sense to just go ahead and push that out there in the open right now. But yeah, those are the rumblings. Now, if WWE were to able to broker this type of deal, no shit, they definitely would be able to bring in loads more revenue, right? So for WWE, that's a good win-win situation if they can go on ahead and get that third hour. Now, one of the main reasons why they probably want to get this third hour in is because typically when SmackDown goes off right now, they also go on ahead and film a new episode or stream a new episode live on the WWE Network 205. So you got to kind of keep that tradition going, do you not? Even though 205 is, you know, I won't say it's like NXT where not that many people are freaking, you know, checking it out. But when you compare, I would like to think when you look at the logistics of 205 as far as the viewership and you compare it to NXT, I would like to believe that 205 has gotten even lower and lower and lower. So, you know, that's a delicate situation right there. But, you know, look, if WWE were to be able to get a third hour of WWE programming in there, and it just so happens they do their 2 hours with Fox for SmackDown, and then that third hour, they're able to broker a deal where maybe it's 205 on FS1. Take it how you want it. Either they do 205 live, which makes all the sense in the world, or maybe they add on the third hour of SmackDown, and basically what you could do is maybe you could actually have dark matches take place, right? I mean, it's been a good minute since I've really heard more and more about dark matches happening at a Raw or a SmackDown taping. So to be able to do 3 dark matches, that's 205, tape it, get it out the way, right? And then you can put that on the network later on in the week. I like that idea a lot more, honestly. But regardless, whether it's going to be a third hour of SmackDown or it's going to be 1 hour of 205 Live that may get on over there to FS1, I think whatever WWE may be able to do and getting a third hour in general would be very beneficial. You're talking to somebody that watches FS1 religiously. I love checking out First Things First with Chris Carter, Nick Wright, Jenna Wolf. Love those guys. Phenomenal 3-hour show that they do every single day. I check out Undisputed with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. Sometimes they get a little bit on my nerves because I'll give you a perfect example. Who had the longest urine break? Michael Jordan or LeBron James? Skip and Shannon debate that next. Who's got the biggest dick? LeBron James or Michael Jordan? I mean, every single time you turn around, the topic is always on LeBron James, or there's some type of bullshit little thing about the Cowboys, and Skip's got to talk about it, and it's stretched out for, my God, it's just overkill. And so there's many weeks where I'm just not feeling Undisputed and I need to take a break. Really, Shannon is the one that really, and I was telling a coworker of mine about this the other day. I said, you know, man, if it was a case where Stephen A. Smith did not work out a new deal with ESPN and Skip was somehow able to convince him to come on board to FS1 and everything, come on board to Fox, I have a feeling that I don't think Shannon Sharp would be replaced on Undisputed, but I do feel in my heart of hearts that Stephen A. Smith would be a third wheel, a permanent third wheel on a daily basis, right? And I would have no problem with that whatsoever because Stephen A. Smith, Skip Bayless chemistry, I love that shit. I mean, they were a great 1-2 punch back in the day when they were doing their thing on ESPN. So a lot of the programming is where I'm getting at. I wasn't long-winded. I'm just giving you some show examples on what's on FS1. Basically, think sports talk. Think the Dan Patrick Show. Think Cold Pizza. If you remember your ESPN shows from back in the day, think of Cold Pizza. First Take. Think of First Take, right? So those are the type of shows that you have on FS1. You also got Jason Whitlock, his show Speak for Yourself. So those shows, they're pretty good, but as far as original programming goes, there's really not that much on there. There's only a handful of shows. You can't even get up into the double digits with the amount of shows that's on FS1 right now. And certain shows like First Things First and Undisputed, those two shows do recycle. Right, you can usually catch an encore late at night of those shows, but I believe they trim it down a little bit. I think they probably remove the last half hour or whatever, right? So as far as more original content goes to that particular channel, yeah, it would be a win-win situation. It would be a win-win situation for WWE. It would definitely be a win situation for FS1, right? Because other than those shows that I just mentioned, sometimes you'll see an instance where some of those shows will be preempted by some type of a sporting event, whether it's basketball, not NBA, but it could be maybe a college game, or typically you'll see a tennis game. What else? Maybe a race car game. Something of that nature. You'll see something like that may preempt the other shows from coming on that day, right? So in the evening time, I don't really think that's much of an issue. It would be an issue. I don't think it would be like the days of when WWE had SmackDown on UPN, and you had that period where baseball was on, right? Baseball was on. Golf. You get the gist. Least I can say. Don't forget golf. Yeah, golf. You get the gist of what's basically on FS1, right? Nobody likes when it's all said and done when a sporting event comes on and, oh my God, I was trying to watch SmackDown. What the fuck, right? And back in the day when SmackDown had the relationship with UPN, they stayed getting preempted by freaking baseball. If it wasn't the Nats, it was the freaking Orioles, but there was always something weird going on. And a lot of times you wouldn't catch SmackDown until the very next day, or sometimes it would be a case where, oh, well, West Coast had got SmackDown. Oh, well, Central Coast, they got SmackDown. Oh, East Coast just didn't get SmackDown, right? Sometimes it would be like that. So I think if they were to do something like this, they would be okay. They would be able to work it out just fine. I loved how everything had opened up there with SmackDown tonight, kind of making the transition a little bit. I love how things had pretty much opened up with AJ Styles, Randy Orton, Kevin Owens, and they were doing an edition of the Kevin Owens show. Shit got real. I'm telling you, that was just, ooh, I was at the edge of my seat at that one. Watching them go back and forth, I love how Randy Orton tried to take another dig at AJ Styles, bringing up the whole, hey, while you were wrestling for just a couple of people in gymnasiums and all that for handshake, hot dog, $50, I was headlining WrestleManias after WrestleManias after WrestleManias. And you hear that zinger and you go, man, how's AJ Styles going to counter this one? Come on now. How you going to counter this one? And do you guys even remember what I had said a couple of weeks ago when the first battle or war of the words had came about between Styles and Orton? Remember how I said it was decent, but I wish they didn't have AJ Styles look so weak in that exchange? How I wish AJ would have gone there and brought up, well, hey, I wasn't dishonorably discharged from the service, right? And AJ Styles in this one tonight, he definitely brought that up. He's like, well, hey, I might have been wrestling for a couple of people here and there in gymnasiums and whatnot, but, you know, at least I didn't get suspended from the military service. I mean, AJ went there, but just the delivery. Just the delivery and the way he brought it, it was, ooh, daddy, that is, ooh, yeah, shit just got real. And you see Randy Orton, I got to give a lot of credit to Randy Orton. I know some people feel the way they do about Randy Orton because for some, it's pretty much been the same recycled verbiage they've seen from Randy Orton all of these years. But I've got a soft spot for Randy Orton because there's that part of me that over the years, I would say in particular the last 3.5 to 4 years, he's been showing a bit more of his personality, certain mannerisms or certain things that he's doing now where he's just really letting loose. You can tell he's having fun, and it's, yes, that's the Randy Orton we need to see more. Be more playful like that. Go ahead, let a little bit more personality out there, right? He's kind of scaled it back just a little bit. I definitely would admit that, but this program that he's been doing with Randy Orton, not that much weeks of a build up, but I find it fascinating. I'm sure that these two men are going to have a good matchup when it's all said and done, but they're back and forth tonight. I loved it. Randy Orton, I got to give that young man a lot of props. The way he sold when AJ delivered that line about the military. Randy just rocking back and forth, kind of like, you motherfucker, I know you did not just go there. Like, he was ready to beat the crap out of him. And I like how Kevin Owens he finally realized, he kind of did like that infamous GIF that's running around. I'm sure you guys have probably seen it by now. There's a GIF, and usually the caption that everybody shares online is, me when I see two people arguing, and they show this little infant baby girl. She like walks into the room and she turns right back around like, let me get the hell out of here. That's literally what Kevin Owens did tonight, and nice brawl between those two. AJ Styles looked as though he was going to have the upper hand, tried to look for the phenomenal forearm. Randy Orton caught him with an RKO, laid him out. Good stuff. Loved it. It was good. It was good. Loved it. Of course, they emulated here from Baltimore, Maryland. SmackDown did tonight. We did see at one point a DC police vehicle. Turns out Becky Lynch was in there. She pretty much was hyping up what's going to be going down at WrestleMania. And look, can I just say, because I know that there are some of my colleagues that's out there, when things ended the way that it did with last week's Raw, right? Or correction, last week's SmackDown, and we saw Charlotte be crowned the new SmackDown Women's Champion. it had a lot of people wondering, well, what exactly is going on here? What exactly does the future now hold with regards to WrestleMania? And remember some of the ideas I put out there on last week's show. I said this very well could be a case where maybe you could, like long term, down the road is how I was kind of looking at things. I said, you know, it could be a case where it's a winner take all. Winner walks out of WrestleMania with both titles. As a result of walking out with both titles, maybe for a little bit, they go on ahead and they defend those titles for each respective brand until they lose it. Or you could do a situation where, okay, well, maybe, you know, you could do a unification match, right? You could do that as well. Now, I think a unification match, the timing of it, I don't think it would be a smart move right now. And mainly that's because you still have Raw and SmackDown on the same network, right? I think if anything, WWE should play around with a winner takes all, right? Winner just walks away with both titles. Defend both of those, right? Okay, you got to defend. If it means they got to defend both titles in one night on the same pay-per-view, then so be it, right? But I definitely would play around with that for the next little bit, at least until a month before SmackDown is getting ready to make their move over to Fox. And then maybe around that period of time, you go on ahead and you could legitimately entertain the idea of doing a unification match. And look, anybody that's toying with the idea of, hey, you know, a unification, I mean, if you ask me personally, there's nothing wrong with thinking that. I actually would not mind that. And you know why? Is because with this deal that's coming up on Fox, and how Fox is, hey man, we want this to be very wrestling oriented. We want to get rid of the silly slapstick comedy bullshit. We want you to, you know, kind of go back to how you were doing it in the previous years. We definitely wanted to meet the age demographics of our audience that's into the football and the MMA and all that, right? So for me, I can't help but go, well, you know, if you could have a champion that just has, for the women's title, that is, if you could just have one women's champion that is not only going on SmackDown, but is also going on Raw, and just keep going back and forth like that, right? Okay, well, you know for a fact that when you watch SmackDown, all right, you're definitely going to see this person, you know, she's the champion, blah, 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 blah. It would be kind of nice to see an interesting element like that. I mean, could you continue to just skeet on by with two champions, and one SmackDown goes over to Fox? All right, well, they've got their own women's champ. Yes, you could. You could continue to do that, but I just have this, call it a sixth sense, that probably Ronda Rousey, to some degree, is going to be incorporated on SmackDown. And you want to talk about shaking things up and everything, I honestly would have no problem if Ronda Rousey were to head on over to SmackDown. They could use all the help that they could get. I think the bigger question, though, is would that be something that WWE would be willing to do in order to make sure that the numbers are a huge success for SmackDown over on Fox? Would they be willing to send Ronda Rousey over there on a more regular basis, is the right terms that I want to use, right? But you couldn't help but look at the way things had ended on SmackDown last week and say, so what's going on with this championship match now? Is it a winner takes all? Well, you know, what's going on? Are they going to do a unification match? If you thought that, you're not naive, you're not silly. I don't care what anybody tells you. There's nothing wrong with thinking like that, right? I mean, hell, I credit people that are just, man, you know, what do you think is gonna, just the fact that the dialogue is happening and people are talking about it, right? The fact that WWE has you talking, now you're wondering what's going on. They're doing their job because it's helping the fans have dialogue, right? About a story arc. It's got you talking. That's the whole thing, right? So I don't mind that. Now, keeping all of that in mind, you know, Becky Lynch tonight, I don't know. I'm going to get into it when it comes time to talk about some WrestleMania predictions and all that. Now, it depends on how much showtime we have left. I've already put a notation in the programming notes. I may get into WrestleMania and NXT. If I don't, then there's going to be a separate audio that I'll probably share on demand and on the downloads for previewing WrestleMania and NXT, and it'll be previewing predictions for you guys, or call that match edition. We'll definitely roll that out. So we'll see how we do on this episode. Kofi Kingston, Daniel Bryan, one last showdown, contract signing. Daniel Bryan really trying to get into the psyche of Kofi Kingston. I loved, finally, and it kind of follows up again on what I was talking about last week. I loved how finally we saw a little bit of a mean streak in Kofi Kingston. Remember, this is something that I talked about, if not last week, 2 weeks ago. I said, hey, it's been great seeing Big E and Xavier Woods talking up the good talk for their man Kofi, right? That's great that they are trying to come to the aid of their brother in arms, but when it's all said and done, my message was, this is Kofi Kingston's WrestleMania title match. This is the opportunity that he wants, right? He should be the one to be more vocal about this. Where is that fiery streak? Where is that? Because he's just, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. Don't mind me, right? So to see Daniel Bryan keep pushing it and pushing, just taking that finger mentally and just continuing to poke at Kofi Kingston's chest, telling him, hey, never mind what these people think, never mind this, never mind that, and to finally see Kofi Kingston just grab that microphone and get real serious, get real passionate for a moment. That promo that he cut on Daniel Bryan, talking about, you don't know me, you don't know what I've been through, you don't know what all I've faced, the adversity I've had to go through to get to where I am right now. You just don't get it, do you, Daniel? Let me tell you something. 11 years ago, here I was busting my ass, and I saw when you came into the WWE and you became a WWE champion within 2 years after arriving in the WWE. You don't think mentally that got to me? You don't think that hurt me? Right? So I love seeing that part of Kofi Kingston come out and really tell that story and sell that whole notion of, I get why you're talking like this, Daniel. I get why you're coming at me the way that you're coming at me, is because you know that I'm more hungrier than you. You know that I got your number. You know I got you. Right? I love that whole, that I ate that up big time. Ate that up big time. And that's exactly, as I had alluded to, I want to say it was on last week's show, that's what you needed for Kofi going into Mania. He needed to have that, because he never did have it with Vince McMahon. If that could have been written entirely different, and we already went through a whole spiel on how that should have been much different between Kofi and Vince McMahon, they definitely needed to make Kofi look very strong going into Sunday's pay-per-view event. And I thought with the promo that he cut, that whole exchange, Big E, to the point, Big E, Xavier Woods being silent in the background, pretty much letting Xavier, all right, handle your business, brother. Right? I'm sorry, not Xavier, Kofi. Pretty much Big E and Xavier chilling in the background, letting Kofi handle his business. Loved it. He delivered it. Pretty good stuff right there. Miz had a handicap match against all three members of Sanity. Shane McMahon came out, had mentioned that, oh, wait, just got an idea. Yeah. Instead of it being a 1-on-3 handicap match, it's now going to be a 1-on-3 falls count anywhere match. Okay, right. Somehow, Miz was able to get out of there with a W. I honestly have the slightest clue how he got out of there. I really don't, because I was preparing for the show, so I just had the TV playing in the background. The little bit that I saw, it looked okay, but the bigger question that I have in mind right now is, how exactly did Sanity become aligned with Shane McMahon? And that's the story that I'm missing right now. And you could say to me, well, Lee, this was touched upon in the WWE.com exclusive with Dasha Fuentes, or it was whoever, right? You could give me those names if you want. But for me, it doesn't count. And I'll tell you why it doesn't count. Because where it really counts the most is when it's live on TV. That's where you have to give it to me, right? Most people are not gonna, I need to find, most people are not gonna do that, right? Most people are not gonna do that. Now, maybe if you're giving away some money, right, you can win $100,000. What? Just go on our website, blah, blah, blah. Enter the code free money for your chance to win. Okay, well, yeah, maybe somebody would be more inclined to do that than, gee, I wonder if Sanity had revealed how they've aligned themselves with Shane McMahon. Let me go online and see. Nobody's really gonna. So you gotta give it to people when they're sitting down and you've got their attention for 2 hours. I personally feel. So that I find most peculiar. There was a bit of a preview battle royal match, if you want to call it that happened during the night. Forget all the participants. The main ones that kind of stood out in my mind. Heavy Machinery was there. There was a spot where, what's his name? Ozzy. Still learning the names. I think it was Ozzy. He was looking at Mandy Rose, and it was, oh my God, I just discovered puberty because there's a woman in front of me and I've got a boner. I'm telling you, that's exactly how dude was acting. I bullshit you not. You got to go back and watch the episode yourself. That's literally how the guy was acting. And I believe it was Shelton Benjamin that had took him out. It was great seeing my girl from Sanity, Nikki Cross. It was great seeing her in there, because I mean, she has just sparingly been popping up. You know, I almost forgot she was in the WWE. I honestly did, until I had saw her tonight. So hopefully after WrestleMania is over and done with, it'll be a situation where Nikki Cross will pop up more. It's been weird seeing one Ethan Carter just randomly popping up here and there, and that's a different topic for another time. I got to keep it moving along, though. Got to keep it moving along. But I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I wanted to touch upon with regards to SmackDown tonight. I still feel, just going back to what I touched upon with the Raw recap, you saw all throughout the night leading up to Becky Lynch cutting her little promo about how she's going to win it all at WrestleMania. You saw how they just kept milking the footage from what had happened on Monday Night Raw with her, Charlotte, Ronda, right? I still feel, and look, you ain't got to be a rocket scientist to just look at this story arc and everything, right? If you've been watching the WWE product long enough, you got a really good sense and feel for placement as far as certain story arcs. And now that I've had a night to basically marinate on it a bit, I still personally feel that you should have had Raw ended with the girls being put in handcuffs, all being put in the squad car. They're driving off to a local precinct, and the cliffhanger, what the hell does this mean for the WrestleMania match? For the triple threat for the titles. What does it mean with regards to this women's main event match at Mania? Oh my God. Folks, we're so sorry, but we got to go off the air. Follow us on WWE.com for more updates, and hopefully we'll have even more updates on Tuesday SmackDown. Good night, everybody. See you this Sunday for WrestleMania, right? And then you go into Tuesday. You could have had Stephanie McMahon say a little something on social media. Just basically say, hey, tonight, SmackDown from Baltimore, Maryland. I will be there in attendance, and I will address the future of what exactly is going to be happening with this triple threat match for the women at WrestleMania. So make sure you tune in. You don't want to miss it. And you just could have kept selling it that way, right? That's the way that you should have done it. And the fact that SmackDown tonight had relied so heavily on showing footage after footage after footage of what had went down from Monday night, I felt it was a little bit of a disservice to a degree from the people that had watched what went down on Monday night, right? And of course you get the bullshit. Oh, well, the girls, they got released on their own recognizance, right? To the point, there's a question that I had saw. It looks like it had came from Cody via Twitter. Hey, Leah, a serious question. I hate serious questions because I don't like to think that much. But I'm working on a beer here. But let's see what we can do. What's your opinion of wrestlers getting arrested for what they're paid to do, wrestle, while some keep getting to do it and nothing happens? I mean, you see it a lot, including the Travis Brown spot. Nothing happened. Well, Cody, I kind of alluded to it off and on the past couple of weeks, but if I really was not blunt about it, and that's, I mean, are we talking real life, or are we just talking, that would be my question to you. Are we talking just in real life in general, or are we just talking with what we're seeing for some of these wrestling promotions? You have to clarify on that, Cody. Now, the way I'll answer this question is, let's just say that this is a case of, hey, what you're seeing on TV, and this is happening, and this is happening, and this is happening. Here's the thing. I've always believed in the philosophy of perfect example. Hey, in this particular match, Seth Rollins is going to do a suicide dive in between the ropes. Okay. That's going to be a really sweet spot. Yeah, you know, we figured like we need some type of a sweet spot in there in his match against Brock Lesnar. So, yeah, we're going to see a really cool sweet spot. Yeah, Seth, suicide dive in between the ropes, Brock Lesnar. Okay, cool. Next matchup. Okay, so we got Rey Mysterio and Samoa Joe, United States Championship. Okay, cool. Yeah, I was thinking about this spot where Rey Mysterio is going to do a suicide dive in between the ropes. Well, you know, you just did that with Seth Rollins. Yeah, but I mean, come on, you know. Oh, yeah, that's true. All right, cool. Yeah. All right, what's next? All right, so we got Miz. Miz is going to be taking on Shane McMahon. Okay. Yeah, it's going to be a good match. Yeah. All right, so what are you thinking? Well, you know, definitely one point during this match, Miz does a suicide dive in between the ropes. Well, wait a minute now. We just, like, saw... Are you sure well, no, look, this is how we do it, right? We just got to make sure that the timing is spaced out real good, and we'll be all right. Trust me, we'll do it. Okay, all right, cool. You get the point? So I've always believed in the philosophy of don't do too much within a short period. So to my point, within, my God, 90 days, we've seen a case where, take your pick of Charlotte, Becky, Ronda, getting into it with the police or the security, and things escalate to the point that it's sad, and you see all of this silliness that goes down. And I don't need to rehash. I mean, I'm pretty sure we talked about this before, but, you know, just to make sure, you know, we get a question, we got to tackle it. We got to be interactive, guys, okay? Some of you all may have heard me tackle this already, but Cody probably didn't. So to his credit, you know, to defend him a bit, no, I mean, I believe in consistency. I've always believed in smart booking. Matter of fact, now that I really stop and think about it, somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't I on this show when the Travis Brown spot had went down and Ronda Rousey was just left and right? Was I on this same very show? And I had said, well, that spot that happened there, that was quite stupid because you should have had some type of ramification come into play as a result of Ronda Rousey's husband getting into it. There should have been a fine, and on top of the fine, at least kayfabe it and say that he's been banned from all future WWE events. I'm pretty sure I said something along those lines. So, short answer, I think that great moments like what we've been seeing with these girls the past couple of weeks is good storytelling, but it starts to become diluted a bit when you keep spamming it so much that ultimately you just go, why should I care? Perfect example, what I just talked about a couple of minutes ago with the girls getting into it on Raw and how things had pretty much escalated to the point that it did, you know? See what else we got here. Continuation tweet. Oh, continuation tweet. Apparently there's a part 2 message that's added onto this. Let's see what we got here. But last night you saw the 3 women all get arrested for fighting. It makes no sense, and there is no logic or... See, that's the thing. You know, I've kind of noticed this as I've gotten older. You know, knock on wood, 39, gonna turn 40 this year. That's what I've learned with regards to certain promotions, and in particular with regards to the WWE. You don't have to be as old as I am. You could be much younger, and you can look at something storyline-wise, and you can go, well, that doesn't quite make any sense because XYZ. Right? It's no different than you could have been watching. I'll give you a perfect example, and I don't need to be long-winded. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. My God, I thought that was, and I still do to this day, I thought that was one of the greatest goddamn shows for kids that ever came out. If ever a live-action show, other than Spectre Man, I thought Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, those first couple of seasons with the Rangers, Tommy, Kimberly, all that, Zach, Jason, Billy, it was Trina or whatever, Trini, whatever the fuck her name was, right? I don't mean to disrespect the dead because I know she's no longer living with us, but my point, you go back 15, 20 years later, and you rewatch some episodes, you go, well, wait a minute. That doesn't make any sense. But ultimately, you just go, hey, I got to get lost in the entertainment. I got to get lost in the entertainment aspect. Now, we can all sit here and we can go through all kinds of ideas on, oh, well, you know, this should have been better. I just told you how they should have stretched out what went down with that particular segment on Raw, how that should have ended Raw, and you had a continuation going into SmackDown. Fans would have been okay with it, right? But that's not what happened. We could be here all night till we're blue in the face talking about all kinds of cool ideas that, you know, well, this should happen and well, for continuity, but when it comes right down to it, when you look at a promotion like the WWE, you know, for all the writers that they have, they do what they do, and, you know, it's not really ultimately the writer's fault. It's ultimately on the shoulders of the people that approve these scripts and say, okay, let's go there. Let's do that. Are we going to find silly inconsistencies? And yeah, but you know, I've personally found that as I've gotten older, I just got to get lost in the moment. I got to just look at the overall story at face value that they're trying to tell of whatever program they're trying to push for their next pay-per-view. And I've got to look at it overall as face value that way and go from there. Are there holes in it? God, yes. You could probably look at the Marvel franchise, and you could look at probably all of those Marvel movies, most recent being Captain Marvel, and you could find so many holes that don't make sense and challenge, well, wait a minute, why? And you bring up some very valid questions, but guess what? They may never get tackled in a future movie. And so you're just left kind of wondering, what the fuck? Perfect example. I'm not spoiling the movie, but with regards to Captain Marvel, you all should know this because I did a review for it. But one point that I had brought up was, okay, so what the hell was going on with Nick Fury trying to call for the help of Captain Marvel when the first Avengers movie came about? If he's been friends with Captain Marvel since, what was it, 1991 or whatever, 1990, 1991, whatever the fuck the year was, 92, I don't give a fuck. But if he's been friends with her that long, and the stuff goes down in the first Avengers movie, how do you explain him not trying to get in contact with her for help? Did he try to get in contact with her for help? And did his calls go unanswered? And if his calls did go unanswered, why did they go unanswered? Was it because she was tied up or she felt that the few times that He did try to touch base with her. It was not for emergencies. What exactly, right? So go back and you look at that movie in particular. There's so many holes that's in there. You're hoping that a follow-up to Captain Marvel will answer some of those questions, but you're really leaning more towards your gut. Your gut is telling you, no, those holes are going to continue to be there. That's wrestling. That's wrestling a lot of times. But moving along, so that was pretty much it for SmackDown. And oh God, Cody's still not satisfied with that answer, folks. Hang on. There's a continuation added on to that, basically saying some people can do it and some can't. But I mean, in storyline, it's like WWE is inconsistent. Yes, there you go. You've answered your own question, Cody. And I'm not being a dick to Cody, so I don't want people to go, Lee, you're being... I'm not. Cody's asking a legit question. It's just, I know some of you guys don't like when I get long-winded. And if you notice, a couple of years ago, I want to be in and out, in and out, in and out. There's a lot of fucking show left, so let's get into it. But good question. So, speaking of Kofi, superstar Billy Graham, WWE legend, he had some poor words to say, choice words to say, with regards to Kofi Kingston. Let me tell you something. I got a lot of respect for superstar Billy Graham. I mean, my God, one of my first early memories of superstar Billy Graham, it came in the form of VHS tapes, courtesy of, I want to say, my dad and uncle, right? Posters and all that stuff, I want to say. All right, so I've got memories of superstar Billy Graham as a kid. And as I made my way into my teens and, okay, well, what's going on here, right? And I'm in that discovery mode, basically. And, all right, let me see what's going on with the wrestling of the past. And I piggy on back and I learn about the Pedro Moraleses. I learn about the Nick Bockwinkel's. I learn about the Bruno Sammartinos. I learn about superstar Billy Graham. I learn about Bob Backlund and all that. Wahoo McDaniels and everything. And I've always had a soft spot for superstar Billy Graham. But what he had said about Kofi Kingston, this was about, God, it went down last we were on the air with you all. So like shortly after we went off the air, I want to say like next day is when this had pretty much came out. So anybody that follows superstar Billy Graham, he usually, on Facebook that is, let me stress that, on Facebook, he's pretty active on Facebook. He's not really, to my knowledge, he doesn't have a Twitter. If he does, I don't know anything about it, but Facebook, he's pretty damn good on Facebook, all right? So this is what he had to say. Is the WWE serious? And let me zoom in on this because my screen share image is a bit small in what I'm reading here. There we go, that's better. Is WWE serious? I turned on my computer today and went to the wrestling news sites, and what did I see? Kofi Kingston versus Daniel Bryan for the WWE Championship at Mania. Keep in mind, folks, he posted this on March 26th. All right. Where was I? Lost my place that quick. Talk is, Vince is going to put that WWE belt on Kofi Kingston. Shit, you, not me. We'll have a 145-pound WWE champion. This must have been an idea by the new senior creative lady, Dana Warrior. Meltzer says she has been promoted to an extremely high position on the creative team and attends meeting that only Vince, H, and Steph are in. Damn, how did she get so smart? My friend Hannibal has been monitoring the Monday Night Raw steady decline in TV viewership. Well, Hannibal, it dropped again last night in Boston, Monday, March 25th. Steady decline in TV viewership. I predict that this year's Mania will be so bad that next year, 2020, will not come close to selling out. The thrill is gone. Is anyone out there really excited to see these two lightweights wrestle for the WWE Championship? Oh, one more thing. I would love to see Kofi at 145 pounds put his newly won WWE belt on the line against Brock Lesnar. Great logistics. One man being outweighed by a good 135 pounds. A total joke this thing is. SBG, Superstar Billy Graham. That's what he had to say. Now I want you all to marinate on that for a couple of seconds here, and let me just have a nice, cool, refreshing, tall, cool one here. Because I need to quench my thirst after that. Let me tell you something. There are so many layers to this. It's not even funny. All right? It's not. I remember there was a time a couple of years back where I used to follow Superstar Billy Graham. I was actually one of his friends on Facebook. I would comment on his stuff all the time, although it was kind of rare. I didn't try to spam it out like that, but there are certain wrestlers that I do follow that are pretty good on Facebook. Facebook, it seems to me that if you want more of a mature crowd, and I'm not saying older, right? So don't take that as an insult. But if you want to get away from the bullshit with the GIFs and the silliness that's on Twitter with a lot of keyboard warriors and social justice warriors and all that bullshit, right? Kiddies, right? It seems that the kiddies have the Twitter, and pretty much, you know, people that are 18 and up, you know, they kind of slide on over more to the Facebook, all right? But I've done recent studies where a lot of people are losing trust in Facebook because of, and rightfully so, because of all of the bullshit that's been happening with them in the news and all that as far as security, privacy, and all of that, right? Different topic, another time. And I remember there was a couple of times where Superstar Billy Graham said something that I did not agree with. And to just read the comments, anybody that follows him, you don't have to be a friend of his to see his stuff. His stuff is public. You will see the plethora of people that are just, oh yeah, Billy Graham, oh yeah. I was not one of those people. Like, there would be times where I see something that he posted, and very politely, Mr. Graham, and I would always call him Mr. Graham. I would say, Mr. Graham, I have to respectfully disagree, you know, and the reason why, and I would bring up my points. And then one day, all of a sudden, hey, what happened? Thought me and Billy Graham were friends. Thought I was, right? Somehow he unfriended me or whatever, and basically I can no longer post on his stuff, right? So some of these people, they got thin skin, believe it or not, as strong of a man that Billy Graham is and everything. He's even part of that whole cult of, well, if you don't agree with what I have to say, fuck you, you know, I don't have anything to do with you, right? So, keep that in your rearview mirror as far as the type of cat that he is and everything, right? When you don't agree with what he's saying. Now, one thing that I want to home in on with regards to what Billy Graham had said here, and I got to use his own words against him because it's pretty much in black and white. And I want to pull this back up one more time. The very first thing that he said, I turned my computer on today and went to the wrestling news sites. Marinate on that one more time. I turned on my computer today and went to the wrestling news sites. Okay. Now that sounds to me like somebody that has not been faithfully watching the WWE product at least within the past 90 days. Because anybody that has been watching the WWE product within the past 90 days to 6 months tops would definitely be in agreement. Kofi Kingston came out of nowhere. Pure fucking nowhere. It looked as though originally all of the established, respected websites that make it be their business to contact good, reliable sources and find out the skinny on, well, why is this going on? Well, why is this happening, right? All signs were indicating that it was going to be Daniel Bryan, KO at WrestleMania for the WWE Championship. But Daniel Bryan, the detour that happened, Kofi Kingston, right? Hey, sorry, KO, but Kofi Kingston, right? All of a sudden, just lightning in the bottle organically. I was on my way to the store and I just stumbled onto this. That's literally how it happened with Kofi Kingston, right? Now, I would like to believe that when it gets right down to the heart of the matter, superstar Billy Graham can appreciate the term follow the money, right? You've got the fans. It's basically supply and demand. Hey, we like this guy. We like this guy. Oh, man, we want him. We want him. Man, this guy really seems to struck a chord here. What do you guys think? Well, let's throw him a curveball and let's see if maybe that was just a one-time city deal or, or maybe we got something here. And they just kept throwing the little softballs out there, and the fans were just eating it up, eating it up, eating it up, and eating it up. And boom. So, sadly, with regards to superstar Billy Graham, it's obvious that he's out of touch with what's been happening with the WWE product. And you know what? I'm not knocking him for that. I know that back in the time when he was wrestling and he was doing his thing, things were a lot different. I understand that the way that he was brought up in wrestling, it was always about the big guys, right? It was always about the 6'10" guys, muscled, chiseled, look like, my God, a freaking superhero, a real life superhero out of a comic book strip or whatever, right? So I get where superstar Billy Graham is coming from, but he needs to understand and he needs to recognize that, wait a minute, dude, wait a minute now. How old are you again? How old are you again? How long has it been since you were in the ring, superstar Billy Graham? I mean, this guy is almost in his 80s. Right? So what he did in his respected era was a long time ago. It's no different than some of the new music that is out right now. All right? I always have this conversation with the missus and friends. I say, my God, man, some of the music that's out today, I'm not able to really get into it like that. Some of this music is bullshit. I'm still pushing shit from the 90s and 2000s as if it came out yesterday. I mean, it's still fresh in my ears. I'm still I'm still pushing the same freaking U2 albums. I'm still pushing the same Stone Temple Pilot stuff. I'm still pushing the same. I'm pushing the shit that I grew up on, right? Very seldom have I allowed myself to, all right, let me check out this new artist. Oh my God, this was, because because a lot of what I hear is bullshit, right? But because I may not like it, I don't bash other people that do like it. I just go, okay, well, this is the new trend. This is the new thing. Oh, okay, all right. Now, if anything, I may challenge somebody once in a while and I may say, why exactly are you listening to this? I don't get it. Why is this so popular? I don't understand. Perfect example. I remember first hearing about Lady Gaga. I'm like, what's the big deal? I don't know. What the hell? Chat me up. What's up with this Lady Gaga chick? And then slowly but surely, she started winning me over. And I'll tell you what really won me over was the duet album that she did with Tony Bennett. That made me take a step back and go, okay, you know what? All right. She's got something. She's got something. I need to see what this girl is about. All right. And I started backtracking on her catalog. And now I actually am a big fan of Lady Gaga. Right? So you have to first be able to unlock your mind and go, okay, well, I don't understand some of these changes that's happening around me. But you know what? I need to be able to stay with the times. If I want to be with the in crowd, if I want to know the 411, what's hot, what's not, what's trending, what's got the people talking, I gotta open my mind, and it's gotta be unfiltered, and I gotta be able to take this in. That's why I remember a couple of years ago, me and Tammy, we walked into Walmart. And we always do this. We always do this. But finally, she just asked the question. She said, why do we always have to go to the toy store, to the toy section? You never buy anything. I say, well, the main reason why I do that is because I want to see what has the kids talking. I want to know what's popular. I want to know what's trending. I want to know what's got them talking this season. It helps me stay in the loop on what they like, and it helps me figure out certain things to talk about on the show, because if it's popular for a majority, then there's going to be people that's going to care. It's like, I never thought about it that way. It's like, yeah. So it's always awesome. And I usually go into the toy section once a quarter, right? So all 4 quarters, I go once just to see what's got people talking. You know, what are they tripping over, right? Okay, they got the WWE. Okay, all right, cool. Wow, Transformers. Okay, Transformers, that makes a little sense. Okay. Wow, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles made a comeback. Okay, all right, cool. All right, cool. All right. What else we got here? Oh, wow, get out of here, really? All right, cool. All right, look cool. You know, and that's, you got to be receptive to it. It's no different than, I'm not going to get a new phone. I don't understand this whole touchscreen Android. I'm happy with my flip phone. I don't care about, if I want to get on a computer, I'll get on a computer. I don't need my phone to get on a computer. As silly and stupid as that sounds, trust me. Remember, I work in marketing. You know, in my department, we have a section where people are recruiting for focus groups, and they're collecting analytics, things of that nature from respondents. And you'll come across, you know, I'll never remember this. I was talking with a buddy about this. We did this study where we were trying to talk to people, I want to say 65 plus, because we wanted to see how comfortable they would be with a new app that was getting ready to roll out on Android and iOS devices. And I remember one of the questions that was tackled was, how tech savvy do you feel you are, from a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is not at all, 10, you know, you consider yourself to be an expert, right? And a lot of these people, and you can usually tell who basically is just answering the way that they think is the popular answer, in hopes that we will follow up with them for potentially inviting them to a focus group. And some of these people, okay, so do you have a blah, blah, blah phone? Yeah, I do. Okay, well, what is it? Is it an Android or is it an iOS? Oh, it's a blah, blah, blah. Okay, and on a scale of 1, how would you rate yourself? It's like, oh, a 4. It's like, really? Well, in the survey, you ranked yourself a 10. What's more accurate? And it's, oh, well, you know, I was thinking about it a little bit more, and, you know, da 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 da. It's like, okay. It's like, okay, so, all right, we can't invite that person. But I remember my friend was telling me that there was one individual who everything was going good, and then there was a part about where they needed to make sure that X amount of storage was free on their Android phone so that they could download an app. And those of you that are at some point have been a beta tester, you know that there's some apps that they put out on iOS and on Android where they say, hey, you know, here's your link. This is what you're going to sign in as. You're going to sign in as a tester, blah, 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 blah. And you're going to need to make sure that you have X amount of storage space free on your device so you can download the app, and you'll be able to delete the app afterwards once the testing is done and everything. And I'll never forget, my buddy was telling me, yeah, there's this one person that they just did not feel comfortable doing it. And they said they really, you know, personally didn't understand some of this technology. The upgrading of the phone was forced upon them. You know, if they could have it their way, they would continue to stick to their Razor phone from whatever year. All right. So when I hear a guy like superstar Billy Graham, I hear somebody that is out of touch, in a nutshell, with a lot of the things that has been happening with the WWE product. Because, and see, this is where it's night and day. I checked out, and I shared it in Discord. If you guys did not check it out, hop on YouTube when you get a chance and check it out. But WWE Hall of Famer Tony Atlas, did a interview with MWF, Boston Wrestling, and it was a great interview. It looks like he does something regularly with those guys, is what I'm seeing. So I'm actually going to check it out a lot more. But he touched upon the whole Kofi Kingston. Looks like he's going to be, and he praised what's going on with Kofi Kingston. He praised the McMahon family for, you know, what they're getting ready to do. And he didn't even go the black route. He didn't even touch it whatsoever. You know, and I couldn't help but go, wow, here's a guy in Tony Atlas. He gets it. He gets the name of the game. And, you know, for the most part, he knows a little bit about what's happening with the current product. And he's okay with the current direction that it's going in. Okay, cool. But to see a guy like superstar Billy Graham, for all the criticism that he's given WWE over the years, shitting on them for their Hall of Fame and every single other little thing, if I'm not mistaken, try to get involved in a lawsuit and suing WWE, concussion or whatever bullshit, a lot of venom, and then turns right back around and a couple of years after that, oh, WWE, if you need somebody, hire me. Seriously, you can't make this shit up. It's like, well, what happened? Did you remember to take your medicine today? You took your bipolar pill and you're having a good day today? Like, never mind all the shit that you said in the past. So for me, this is a case right here where I just have to say, look, Superstar may have a very valid point, but not from a physical standpoint. And I mean, look, let's not forget Eddie Guerrero was somewhat of a small guy, but he still won the hearts and the fans over. Yeah, tickets at the gate wasn't really that good, man, but you know what? For what it was worth, he was a damn good champion. People were like, Rey Mysterio. What the hell is this little dwarf? But you know what? Rey Mysterio, under the right type of story arc, everything was aligned perfectly. He was able to get over. Even a guy like RVD. A guy like RVD was able to become a WWE champion. All right? So, CM Punk, Daniel Bryan. I mean, we look at all of the things that has been happening, in particular in the WWE, all of these years. And honestly, what has really been the telling tale for me, and this is the point that superstar Billy Graham is missing, which is officially gone, is the era of, well, you got to be 6'10", 6'11", you got to weigh almost a soaking 300 pounds, and you got to be chiseled, you got to be this Hulk-like type of figure, you got to be looking like the Hulkster, right? Gone are those days. Now it seems that it is about what can you do in the ring, what can you do on the microphone, can you drive the masses, do you have a strong presence on social media, and when it's all said and done, everything, combine it all, does it all make dollars? Because if it makes dollars, then it makes sense to push you, and I'm talking about that common sense. All right, so respectfully, I gotta disagree with just some of the aspects of what Billy Graham is talking about. Now, if Billy Graham were to say, hey, I don't think he's going to push the tickets, I don't think he's going to push the gates, I don't think he's going to sell the pay-per-view buy rates, I don't think he's going to be able to do it. To that, I say, well, you could be right. But you know what? We're still in the first quarter. We aren't really going to know until a couple of months from now. So let's just wait and see what happens. I'm as curious as everybody else how themselves are going to be doing for the SmackDown shows. I'm very, very curious. So I'm definitely going to be watching those like a hawk. Hey, want to take this time out, want to recognize some of our Patreon members. Remember, patreon.com/RCWR Show. Check out bonus audio and video content that you won't be able to find anywhere else. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. $5 a month. Good stuff, man. Want to recognize some of our Patreon members. Shout out to Anthony Missionary Thomas of Wrestling Soup. Good stuff, my man, from C2E2 once again. I know they're going to be tearing it up this weekend with their Wrestlemania meetup show. That's going to be great. I really wish I was going. I got to get ready for Awesome Con, though. More on that in a hot second. But yeah, I got to get ready for freaking Awesome Con. Shout out to Michael Wolf. Shout out to John Davis and Joe Raymond Jr. To our Patreon members, I know that for the month of March, content was a little bit slacking there. And that's really because of what's been happening with WrestleMania weekend and all that. So now, once we're pretty much past WrestleMania, I'm looking forward to pumping out more content on Patreon. So do stay tuned for that. And also, let me see, I'm trying to think, do we have a sponsor for tonight? I don't think we do. I've got to go back and I got to check the notes, but I don't think we have sponsors for tonight's show. So I think we're good. So let's keep right on going here. I want to get into a couple of more topics. You know, we didn't really touch upon it like that with the Monday night show, but the way that they just, and I'm not going to be long-winded with this, the way that they went about Finn Balor bringing up Demon Balor at WrestleMania, it was weak sauce. It was huge weak sauce for me. I did not like it whatsoever. It felt so cheesy. It felt so comical, and it was so much so it was an afterthought. It was a serious afterthought. And you guys got to forgive me because my allergies, it's really been killing me the past couple of days, and I've got to blow my nose. So I'm going to just move away for a hot second here and mute my mic real quick. Give me a few seconds here. Okay, I'm good to go. Yeah, it's my allergies has gotten so fucking bad. I had asked the missus to see if she can get me some sinus medicine, some allergy relief medicine, so hopefully she'll remember to get that. Otherwise, I'm going to be struggling for the rest of the night going into tomorrow. I tried to take some Dayquil medicine, little pills, because it said something about nasal sinus or whatever. Doesn't really seem like it's doing anything. But anyway, what were we talking about? We were talking about Finn Balor, right? I don't like the way that they just randomly, oh, and by the way, here you go, Demon Balor. It goes back to the infamous episode that I did with Mish, and go back and check it out, but we talked about this, about the frustration that I had with Finn Balor and how I wish that WWE could just pull a page out of Marvel Comics and make it be a sleepwalker thing with regards to that demon character. To just throw it out there like, oh, I'm just gonna put on this shirt and I'll see you at WrestleMania because I'm gonna kick your ass. I didn't like it. It just rubbed me the wrong way. I was not excited about it. I've got to tell you. And I'm a big fan of Finn Balor. This was the first time ever, as long as I've been watching Balor in the WWE, where the demon gimmick is brought up, and I just go, because of the build. And for me personally, if you ask, okay, Lee, well, what would you have done? Well, what I would have done was, okay, if the ultimate blueprint was going to be for Bobby Lashley and Finn Balor to face off at Mania, then I would have just figured out some type of a way every single week to have Finn Balor get fucked. I mean, every single way possible, just have him get fucked by Lio Rush and freaking Bobby Lashley. Now look, to Lio Rush's credit, the way WWE was using him early on, I liked it. Where WWE kind of dropped the ball a little bit with Lio Rush, they started having him do wrestling matches. And I didn't like that, because then you take away the whole mystique, right? You had a perfect case right there where the way you should have done him was treat him like a little Jim Cornette light, treat him like a little frickin' Bobby the Brain Heenan, right? Just running around the ring, right? He is the main antagonist. Every time you turn around, he's always interfering. Just really keep pushing it, pushing it, pushing it. And it gets to that point where the gang up on Finn Balor is so much, he snaps, right? Do that nice, good, slow build up. Don't push me, cause I'm close to the edge. I'm trying not to lose my head. Right? That's how they really should have fucking pushed the buttons of Balor. But they didn't go there. So, forgive me if I just randomly turn on my TV and weeks upon weeks, I just get handsome looking Finn Balor. Oh, well, you know, it's great to be going out here tonight and facing Bobby Lashley. But I tell you, if he gets himself involved in my match, you know, not Bobby Lashley per se, but little Lio Rush, if he gets involved in my match again tonight, me and him are going to be having some problems, right? So week after week after week, we just keep, you know, oh, everything is good. Everything is good. Hey, just wait till I get my hands on freaking Bobby Lashley and that little runt, Lio Rush, right? Just week after week after week. And then all of a sudden, I can't even remember the promo now that Balor had cut on the Titantron. It was just so fucking insignificant. It was almost basically like, Finn Balor just standing there and just going, oh, at WrestleMania, I'm not gonna just have pizza. And then you just see this blackface, long ass Gene Simmons tongue, and it's just basically, I'm gonna have pizza with mushrooms on it. And it was like, really? Fucking A, really? I'm like, get the fuck out of here. That was stupid. It was just stupid. It was so laughable. It just made me go, no, that's not, no, right? If you don't go the Sleepwalker, and for those of you that don't know about the whole Sleepwalker reference, just type in Bing Google search, Marvel Comics Sleepwalker Wiki. Type all that, and you'll see what I'm talking about. And when you read that, you'll go, Lee, I see what you're talking about. They also could have done a fucking, no, I like that, because I've been pretty consistent with that. I was going to say they could have gone the Bruce Wayne Batman thing, but no. I've always been consistent with Sleepwalker. I've been using that analogy for years now with Balor. So, yeah, that was just on so many levels. I had to say that. I can't believe I had forgot about that when we were doing the Raw recap, but I actually did forget because it was an afterthought. It was just, just go back and watch that shit now that I've said that. You just see, you know, pretty fucking Finn Balor. Oh, tonight, I'm not just gonna have a slice of pizza. And then all this fucking fog and then just a blackface, long ass tongue. I'm gonna have pizza with mushrooms. It's just, whatever. Anyway. Anyway. Alright, moving along here. Hey. Rey Mysterio, as the report has been put out there, he got injured supposedly during his match with Baron Corbin. So he was supposed to have a match tonight against Andrade, but it got axed. But as you heard on Smackdown tonight, he still advertised for his match against Samoa Joe for the United States Championship. So you kind of can't help but wonder if maybe this is just a selling point to try to help elevate Baron Corbin a bit more going into his match against Kurt Angle at WrestleMania, which, by the way, it's true. It's officially true. You know, what Cody Rhodes had put out there, I thought maybe there was a slight chance it was going to be an April Fool's joke, but no. Kurt Angle is coming to Starrcast 2, as we alluded to it last night. We were trying to see if maybe it was an April Fool's joke before we went off the air the other night, but it wasn't the case. And you go, wow. So now you can't help but wonder, really, and it would be really fucked up if it were to go down that way. But you talk about WWE showing pettiness in the past. You can't help but wonder if, as Kurt Angle is on his way out the door, if they're really gonna do right by him and they're really gonna give him that hero's exit and let him go out with a W, or if he's really gonna do a job to all people, if it's gonna be a case where he's gonna put over Baron Corbin. You really can't help but wonder. I'm floored. I really am. I mean, I'm happy that Kurt is, you know, taking up other projects outside of the WWE. And look, WWE, rather than look at this as healthy competition, look at this as maybe an opportunity to do like how they've had that working relationship with Gabe Sapolsky and his Evolve brand. Rather than, you know, maybe, okay, well, maybe we can kind of do a little something with these guys or whatever. Rather than, no, you know, it's pretty much, oh, you're with them? Banished. We don't know you, right? You don't exist. Ask Chris Jericho. You know, it sucks. I mean, look, as far as I'm concerned, it's stupid. It's stupid on so many levels. Can I just say that? It's stupid on so many levels, because I'm like this. If I'm paying you X amount of money to do only a limited number of dates, and then even at that, I'm not using you when you think I'm going to be using you, okay, well, that money that I'm paying you, you know, it ain't like you can live off of that for a whole year, not unless it's that Brock Lesnar money, right? So you got to do what you got to do to continue to keep ultimately your name out there, because your name is your brand. You got to do everything you can to continue to stay cash flow positive, right? You got to keep having money come into your bank account and not keep going out. You always want to stay on top, right? Accidents happen and you got to be prepared, right? So to get these opportunities where, oh, a meet and greet, okay, sign me up. Okay, yeah, well, it's just a meet and greet. It's not like I'm appearing on their pay-per-view or whatever. Like, why are these guys having a cow? What the fuck? So, you know, I think it's really petty how WWE is operating now. Look, with regards to Jericho, for everything that he's done for the WWE, to just kind of wipe him off the way that they kind of did him, I think that's kind of petty. Very petty. I don't think they should have done that. But the stuff with an Undertaker, what's going on with Undertaker? Is Undertaker even going to be involved at WrestleMania? We'll have to wait and see on that one. But Kurt Angle going to Starrcast. Look, man, he's got to make that money. He's got to make that money. And I mean, look, that's great that with the current deal that he had, he basically was showing up once a week. Do that. Boom. You're done. But he's got kids, you know, and nobody really wants to be living that type of life. I mean, really stop and think about it. I got to sneeze, by the way. Hang on. Oh, allergies. I tell you, allergies is kicking my butt. I should have asked the missus to make a cameo in here so I could have some goddamn allergy relief medicine. Oh, God. All right. We're almost done, guys. I know you guys are like, Lee, stop blowing and all that good stuff. All right. Hopefully that's it. I got it all out of my system. I feel a little better, though. I will say that. I'll admit that. So, but you ever had those type of sneezes where your arm all of a sudden hurts? I sneezed just so hard just now. My arm, like, oh my God, that felt like I dislocated it. Damn. Anyway, let's keep it moving along. See, what else we got? I definitely wanted to talk about this with you guys. Naomi had caused quite a storm, as many of y'all know, on social media with some comments that she had to say with regards to how some of the women were being treated going into WrestleMania. She, at the same time, was loaning her support to Asuka. And, you know, the way things were looked as though Asuka definitely was going to be having some type of a match for that SmackDown Women's title at WrestleMania. And then that monkey wrench had happened. And now Charlotte's the champion. And for Naomi to go out there on social media and say what she had said, you know, it rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. Some people basically had called her entitled. You know, not everything is just handed to you. You got to earn, and something like WrestleMania. And you've heard that in the past. You've heard that with regards to WrestleMania, only the best. You know, nothing but the best can be on that card. If you're able to get on that card, even if it's pre-show, just the fact that you're able to get on that card, have some type of involvement at WrestleMania during that weekend, that's a good payday for you, regardless. So to not be able to get on the WrestleMania card in some level, you ain't doing your job right, okay? And my whole thing was with regards to Naomi saying what she had said. I don't need to repeat that because by now everybody knows what all she had said on social media. Now, can we all be in agreement that... Now look, it's possible. It's possible that Naomi may have said this at the approval of WWE. It's very well possible because you kind of notice there's been a little bit of a trend where you got guys like Naomi, you've got individuals like Big E, even Tyler Breeze recently, very vocal about their current position in the WWE. Guys like Zack Ryder, even to a certain degree, Mojo Rawley. Individuals that have been very vocal about certain things that they've been noticing, especially as far as how they feel they've been utilized in WWE, and it's right. So it's very well possible that what you're seeing could be somehow orchestrated to create some type of buzz, right? Because it seems nowadays WWE is saying to some of these talents, well, if you could make something happen for yourself on social media, we'd be more than happy to capitalize on it. That's how it kind of seems. That's the vibe that you kind of get. And just following up on something that Enzo had said in that shoot interview I reviewed a couple of weeks ago, WWE had paid him to say that line about Conor McGregor. So keeping that in mind, you can't help but wonder, okay, well, some of this stuff that is being said by these superstars, is it really sincere? Or is it a case where they're being told to say this just to get their name out there, right? Now, let's just say for the sake of the argument that what Naomi had put out there, it was legit. Well, let's just say it was. You know, I'm like this, and I said this out in the open in Discord. I said, look, wrong place, wrong time. If you got to air out grievances because of the way a certain employer is treating you, then you need to take a supervisor behind closed doors and you need to air it out that way, right? You don't go on social media and you don't broadcast it, all right? I've seen and heard too many times in the news. One hilarious one comes to mind right now where there was an individual, it was a young girl. She had got a job at a pizzeria and she had took to social media. She was interacting with a friend or whatever, and they were asking her, oh, you know, congrats. How do you like it? You know, and she basically had said, it's a crappy ass job. I don't like it. Pay sucks, blah this. She had put down the pizzeria. It wasn't a Papa John's or anything. It was a small mom and pop joint. Well, it turns out the person that hired her, I guess, was seeing what was going on with her on social media and everything, came across her account and everything, saw what she said, and tweeted out to her, well, sweetie, you don't have to worry about coming in to work tomorrow because you're fired. Don't want you here if you're feeling like that. So, it's one of those things where when you kind of think in real life, a lot of the stuff that we say, if we were to kind of do like what Naomi did, there would be some ramifications without a shadow of doubt. So it kind of leads me to the impression of, so what's really going on here? Is this a case of kayfabe, or is this a case of it? To Naomi's credit, hey, she's saying, I'm just speaking for those of us who are being overlooked, or our work really isn't being appreciated. This is about making sure that we all step our game up, right? And as you should, it's all about the self-accountability and everything, right? To the point, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think we even saw her on SmackDown tonight. I'll have to rely on you guys, but I don't even remember seeing her on SmackDown. And I know that stuff like this and some of the other stuff that's been coming about with the Usos and their little whatever, AEW. I'm not biting into that. I'm not drinking that cup of tea. I'm just not. But what I am saying, to get to the point, is I want for you all to just be a little cautious with some of the stuff that you're seeing on social media, because it could sincerely be a case where some of these talents are being paid. In the case of WWE, they basically are being paid to say little certain things just to kind of keep people talking or whatever, cause a little whatever. And sometimes it could be a case where they are telling the truth. You just kind of got to look at what's being said on social media and go, is this a carrot dangling over my head? Is somebody trying to con me right here? Or is this the real deal? You just got to go in and you just kind of go in gray, right? Just go into that gray area and use caution. Don't be so quick to react. That's my big message. And if you notice, everybody else was reacting. They were commenting on what she had said. I chose not to. I looked at that and I just said, no, I'm not biting into that. I'm not playing into that. I'm looking at the tweets. I'm looking at the engagements. I'm looking at all that, right? And for some wrestlers nowadays, for some TV shows, that type of stuff means the world. It means the world. So much so, you look at a case of the impressions that the second season of Luke Cage had. As far as social media engagement alone on Twitter, when you look at the retweets, when you look at the shares, when you look at the watch time for whatever they were putting out there, everything all across the board was much lower than what came about with the first season. And ultimately, that kind of created the domino effect of, well, let's go on ahead and get rid of Luke Cage because it's just not really bringing in the numbers like it used to. And I don't need nobody telling me, oh, well, Disney and you know what? Yeah, and I wish that this show could be on when something happens. That's when I'll react, right? But that's just wishful thinking for now. All right, keep moving along here. Another thing I wanted to get into, and I don't even need to go overkill on this one. Y'all know how I'm no longer a fan of Bill Maher, right? Ever since he said that shit about Stan Lee, I don't record real time with Bill Maher anymore. He could drop dead for all I care. I'm not going to shed a tear. He could eat a dick for all I care. You got this other guy, John Oliver, who claims he is a wrestling fan and all this other shit, and he's basically taken WWE to town. He's basically slammed them for their business practices, right? How do you throw shade at WWE? Never mind all the great charity work that they're doing. Never mind the partnerships that they have with Susan G. Komen, Boys and Girls Club, and Wounded Warrior, and never mind all of the thousands of stuff that they do. Connor's Cure. Never mind any of that shit, right? How do we want to throw shade at the WWE to fit whatever narrative that we have that we need for our audience to see and drink it all up, man? Okay, so WWE is doing this deal with Saudi Arabia. Oh, yeah, well, we got to get on that. You know, that Washington Post journalist had died. How dare WWE? What are they thinking? It's a shame. They should not go over there. Right? And now you hear how WWE is going to be doing 2 more events in Saudi Arabia as part of this 10-year deal. They're doing 2 more. They had announced the dates a couple of weeks back or when they're going to be coming back out there for this year. And ain't no outrage, right? Ain't no people throwing up their fists on social media going, right? So where's the consistency, right? You see what I'm talking about? Kind of goes back to what I was saying about Superstar Billy Graham earlier, how, oh, yeah, we agree. Yeah, Billy, right? Sky is purple. That's right, Billy. The sky is purple. Actually, the sky is blue. Fuck you. You're blocked, right? So John Oliver takes those swipes, the WWE deal, Saudi Arabia. All right. You kind of knew ultimately they were going to wing that out. You kind of knew they were. Right? That's a lot of money. They would have been very foolish. That would have had serious financial, legal ramifications if they would have reneged on that deal. People that just, oh, they should cancel, they should. We talked about it on the show. There was going to be serious ramifications if they backed out of that deal. And I was on this very show. I said, if anything, maybe they should hold off, wait till things die down a little bit, and they're able to obtain a little bit more information and maybe kind of go from there. All right. But no outrage this go round. So now John Oliver takes a swipe at WWE, bringing up their whole, oh, well, WWE, they don't offer their employees full health benefits. Yeah, so when a wrestler gets injured, oh man, it's so fucked up. If a wrestler gets injured, WWE reserves the right to terminate the contract with them and blah, 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 blah. Okay, first of all, man, I get so sick and tired of this narrative. You're right. It drives me crazy. You have no idea how crazy it drives me. Let me hit you all up with some real good common sense for a couple of minutes here. Self-accountability. You wish to be a pro wrestler. You come to me. I have a wrestling promotion. You say, Lee, I've always wanted to be a pro wrestler. I say to you, well, I'm in need of some pro wrestlers. Well, Lee, I'd like to be a pro wrestler. Okay, well, I'm going to have to show you the ropes. You're going to need some training and all that. Whatever it takes, Lee, but I want to be a pro wrestler. Okay, all right. Let's sit down. Here's the contract. Here's what I'm willing to offer you. I'm willing to offer you to work 250 days out of a year. Oh, that's pretty good. What's my salary going to be? Well, your salary, I'm going to make your salary $200,000. Oh, for the whole year? Yeah, I'm gracious. We're family, you know. You're my amigo. 200,000. Okay, great. Now, when it comes to driving yourself to and from wherever we're going to have these shows, that's your responsibility. No problem. I got it. When it comes to hotels, that's your responsibility too. Okay, yeah. No problem. Now, what about insurance? Now, insurance, you need to go get your own respected coverage. You're on your own. Now, most of these wrestling promotions, taking a sidebar here, most of these wrestling promotions, hey man, something fucked up happens to you, we got you, man. Don't worry about it. You know, your knee gets blown now, whatever, while you're working with us, don't worry about it. We'll take care of you. You know, come on, you got to work after all. This is your profession. Don't worry. You're in good hands. We're going to take care of you. Don't worry about it. All right. That's usually, all right. So that language may not be in my contract that I have with you, but you and me have an understanding where I say to you, hey, if you get a serious injury, right, it's going to sideline you for a couple of months. I got you. Don't worry. You're going to have a job with us. We're going to figure out some type of a way, keep some money coming your way. All right. Maybe off royalties, merchandise, whatever. We're going to figure something out. Don't worry about it. Oh man, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Right? No problem. No problem. Right? So the amount of money that you're getting for $200,000 for that whole year. Understand something. I may not use you for every single event that I'm doing. I may not. Right? Now, if I don't use you for every single event, that's kind of my fault, especially if you're just sitting there and, you know, you're just collecting the money, right? I'm not using you. That's my fault. Okay. But at the end of the day, the deal that you have with me and my respective promotion, it is a case where you are a contractor. You are a contractor for my business. You are providing me a particular type of service that I have need of, right? And as a result of you being a contractor, you are free to go and work for any other wrestling promotion that you want to. Understand something. The way that WWE has these contracts set up, wrestlers, the wrestlers in the WWE, if they really wanted to go and work a wrestling event that is not going to be streamed on pay-per-view, it's not going to be shared live on a social media stream or whatever. If they really wanted to push and see if WWE, you know, hey, WWE, this is what's going on, right? Then they would do it. But with the amount of work that these talents are doing, you don't want to do that shit, because by the time you do the dates that you're supposed to do for this promotion, all right, now I get to go home. I get to kick back. I get to relax. I get to enjoy my civilian life for 48 hours before I have to go back and hit the road again. All right. That's just how it is. I get the narrative that some people are putting out there about, well, you know, when you really stop and think about it, technically these guys are working for the WWE almost all year round. You know, why can't they be made full-time employees? You know, and we all are going to just continue to harp on the bullshit about the whole, well, they should have full coverage. Look, let me run off some names real quick of people that had injuries. And to my knowledge, they weren't let go by the WWE. They weren't, and I'm not even mentioning Triple H, all right? Noam Dar. His knee very close to fucking exploding. Right? He was very close to just losing a whole knee altogether. All right. He got injured. You also had, who's the guy that kept, Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio, left and right, knee injuries. All right. Lord knows if there was ever a person that continued to have serious problems, it was Rey Mysterio every time he turned around. All right. You also had, throw some names at me. Throw some names at me of people that were injured, and to our knowledge, they were not let go by the WWE. I mean, there is a list that is just, we'd be here all fucking night, yeah? Of people that had an injury and they were gone for many months. Oh, Eric Rowan, Luke Harper, those two stay getting injured. And no matter what, they're still with the WWE. All right. So this whole notion of WWE being this evil fucking empire that, oh, you know, they don't care about their employees, and Tess, thank you, Lee Strack. Tess is another one. All right. Dude, you know how fucked up, you know how idiotic that sounds, right? I have worked for an employer, Big Cass. That's another one. Thank you, Cody. Let me tell you something. I have worked for an employer in the past where, hey, you are responsible for your own insurance. Oh, why is that? That's because insurance is only offered to full-time employees. In the position that we're offering you, it's not full-time. Well, I'm like 32 hours. Yeah, but we look at that as part-time. Wow, really? It's like, yeah. It's like, well, that sucks. Well, do I at least get time and a half? Do I get sick leave? No, that's only for full-time employees as well. Well, shit, what do I get? Well, you could definitely opt in for 401k. And, you know, maybe at a later date, if we do decide we can roll out sick leave, you know, maybe you can get a little something there. But yeah, that's just what it is right now. Take it or leave it. But yeah, as far as health insurance goes, you're responsible for your own coverage. Okay, all right, well, you know, that ain't really too bad. Okay, I have had to find my own healthcare coverage, and luckily it was a case where, okay, well, you make this certain amount of money, so as a result of making this certain amount of money, okay, well, if you gotta go to a doctor, you know, okay, well, it's gonna cost you this much, or you're only gonna pay half, or you're not going to have to pay anything, right? But I would like to believe that had it been a situation where things got much worse, where maybe I was going to need surgery or whatever, yeah, would that have mean I would have been paying for it? Yeah. And see, that's the thing that a lot of people don't understand when you keep hearing this narrative that's being put out there, in particular with the WWE, which is, at the end of the day, nobody has a gun pointed to these wrestlers' heads. Let's just not make it a WWE thing. For any wrestling promotion, right? If you are, and this is my message to any upcoming young professional wrestler that's thinking about getting into the business. Excuse me if I'm burping a little bit. I'm recovering from the, still got a little beer there. My advice is get yourself a family lawyer. Get somebody that can maybe do free consultation, look at the legal mumbo jumbo of the contract that you have that is given to you by whatever wrestling promotion, and make sure that all your eggs in a basket is accounted for. That way, when some shit goes down, you know what's up and you're going to be okay. All right. But at the end of the day, nobody has a gun pointed to these wrestlers' heads. At the end of the day, it is all about self-accountability. The best consumer is an educated consumer. And that rule applies especially when you are applying for any type of job. Take that same foundation that I just gave you all with regards to a pro wrestler signing with whatever promotion. You can apply that to life. It needs to be your job to ask the right questions at the right time. Get everything, get as much info as you can before you agree, before you put your name on that dotted line. Because the last thing you need is, okay, well, I'm already here and shit, I'm caught up now. That's the last thing you need. You know, and here's the thing with regards to John Oliver. Okay, you're a wrestling fan. You're a huge wrestling fan. Okay, so you know how much revenue WWE brings in. You know all of these things about WWE, right? So don't you think it would have made all the sense in the world to, I don't know, if you're going to be doing a piece and talking about the WWE, don't you think it would have made all the sense in the world to reach out to a representative from WWE and say, hey, this is blah, blah, blah with blah, blah, blah on HBO. And, you know, I'm doing this piece on WWE and how we feel that they are not blah, 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 blah. Care to grant us any interviews or care to comment, share any information that, you know, to you all's credit. It's no, let me tell you something. It's no different. And I didn't even need to watch the clip. I didn't. So if he did say something along those lines, you would have to educate me and everybody else. I just read the transcript and it was, okay, all right, fuck you, dude. You're a douchebag, right? But it's no different than when I watch episodes of Unsung on TV1, right? Love that series. It's great. The one I've enjoyed so far this season, The Jets. To go down memory lane and hear those songs from the Jets, I was just reliving my childhood all over again, man. All over again. Rocket to you. Ow! Love that. But I remember, and this is usually a theme that you see during the course of Unsung, as was the case with the episode with the Jets. There was a manager that the Jets had, long story short, fucked them over big time. He was pocketing money like I don't know what, and something just was not adding up for the band. The band realized that, well, wait a minute, man. You know, we don't put out 2 albums, and you know, we're not really seeing any revenue coming in. We're still living like a regular life. You know, nothing has really changed for us since we've become celebrities. You know, what's going on here? This doesn't make any sense. And so they ultimately had put their brains together, was able to get some information. They were able to establish, okay, well, this damn dude that's supposed to be looking out for us, have our best interests at heart, is pocketing all the money. So they decided they wanted to break away from that manager, right? Now, Unsung, as is the case with many episodes of Unsung reached out to blah, 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 for an interview to hear their side of the story. They declined. Okay, so if you're John Oliver, the production team, or whatever, if you, and I know a thing or two about this, okay, because there's been times in the past where I have tried to reach out to WWE, get them to comment on a particular story that has made headlines, and I'll get some type of a bullshit line about XYZ. All right, I'll get some type of a bullshit line. All right, but it is what it is. All right, I'm not bashing them for, right? If they want to do it like that, then that's how they're going to do it. But you got to at least give a company like the WWE that olive branch and say, hey, we're doing this story. Do you care to share any information? Do you care to comment on the matter? Right? And if they decline, all right, hey, we reached out to WWE, they declined, blah, 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 blah. Well, XYZ. Let me tell you something. I've shared many times on this show that as far as my political affiliation, I'm an independent. And I sincerely believe that ever since President Trump got into office, everybody that he has ever been associated with have come under scrutiny as a result. And history, don't believe me, educate yourself. History has shown that whoever has been attached to Trump in any capacity feels some type of negative press regardless. Just the fact that you're associated, you feel it. Linda McMahon, nobody ever had one bad thing to say about Linda McMahon. And then once she got aligned to Trump, was put in charge of the small business division and all that, all of a sudden, people started to scrutinize her, all that shit. All right? It ain't no different than that. Okay? I do believe that you have some individuals like a John Oliver that have only one agenda, which is, it's no different than when you watch late night talk shows now. Come on, let's be real. The late night talk shows is not what it used to be. The late night talk shows is now a case where, think about it, their monologue, all they want to do is bash the president, bash the president, bash the president, bash the president. It didn't used to be like that. There used to be a time where late night, lightly, very lightly, they would talk about politics, but they would just, the full spectrum. You would get the entire, right? A little bit of local news in there, haha, all that. But everybody is now, and I was telling a friend this a couple of weeks ago. I said, I've never seen such a climate where it feels like when you're watching the late night talk shows and all that, where it feels so one-sided, right? Very weird how, of all the presidents, this is the one that everybody feels so one-sided. And I've always kept saying, look, he's in office. You ain't going to be able to do nothing about it. Wait until 2020. Do what you need to do. Give him until 2020. Do an overall review. No different than a video game. Okay, overall review. How did you do during this mission? Right? Get your final grade. Play that in your head when you go to the polls in 2020, right? But I just personally feel that you've got individuals like a John Oliver that, oh no, this is a great opportunity to not only take down Trump, but take down his friends as well, as the case, the McMahon family. I could be totally wrong about that on so many levels. I could. But see, this is where I'm different than most people. I can't have respect. I can't show respect. I can't give my time and energy to somebody that has never, to me, in my eyes, established a valid history of being a professional wrestling fan and has only become vocal because of a particular instance that, oh, well, this is news. This is a issue. You can tell me that Vince McMahon is an evil piece of shit all you want, but guess what? What did I say a few minutes ago? At the end of the day, nobody has a gun pointed to those wrestlers' heads and are forcing them to sign that contract. Right? It ain't no different. Think about this. Let me leave you with this. Let me leave you with this. Everybody that's out there, you could do it in the Discord chat. You could do it on YouTube. You could do it on Twitter. You could do it on Facebook. Let's say, let's do it like this. Give me your hourly rate that you would accept. Right? Give me your hourly rate. Now, if somebody comes to you and they offer you half that rate, are you going to take it? Right? Let's say Malik in the chat. Hey, I want 25 an hour. All right, Malik. All right. You feel that's what you're about? Yeah, my resume speaks for itself. Look at everything that I've done over the years. You see what I specialize in. 25 an hour. Okay, Malik. All right, 25 an hour. Okay. Well, we can only give you 15 an hour. Now you got a decision to make. You got mouths that you need to feed. Your bills ain't taking care of themselves. Them car payments ain't gonna go away. Right? Not long. That car insurance either. That car insurance definitely ain't gonna go away. Right? So you got some decisions that you need to make, and you need to make it pretty damn fast. Now, if you're pretty confident that, you know what, I'll be able to command that 25 with the next job, or come just $1 or $2 close to it, so I'll be all right. But you know what, man? When you got an individual that is hungry, and they needed money like yesterday, and they got to do whatever they got to do to make ends meet. That's what I'm saying, man. At the end of the day, these wrestlers that's coming into the WWE, they know what they're getting themselves into. And Malik, brother, all due respect. And Malik, you so funny because I haven't even seen you in I don't know how long. I hope you've been okay. But regardless, Malik, you get the point. Whether it is a salary or it is commission or whatever you want to call it, for you guys that's going, what's going on? Malik is basically saying getting half a rate pay is not the same as Vince, who for years has profited off the, you know, one thing does not have to do with the, yes, it does. And you're missing the whole point, because everything still ties into the health benefits. You know what you're getting yourself into before you sign on the dotted line, right? I mean, I'm sorry. I must be the only one that knows how to ask the right questions every single time I get ready to, you know, do an interview with somebody. Yeah, you know what? But Malik, you know, and I'm not getting upset, so don't take it the wrong way, but I don't know that you always check out the show. Guess why? Because you don't interact on social media. And what do I always tell longtime listeners in particular? If you're a fan of the show, you got social media, say hello, interact on social media. I only know what you tell me. So if I see you just come out of clear blue, like, what the fuck? you know, I don't know how long you've been checking out the show, brother, but the point that I'm making is there's still only so much self-accountability that one can take. Let's make sure that I set this straight before we move on any further. Does Vince McMahon need to accept self-accountability for where him and the WWE is right now in 2019? Because of just the way everything is with our economy, and sometimes people are struggling with healthcare coverage and all of that other shit, right? Yes, a 1,000 times yes. 1,000 times yes. Now, I do feel, and here's the other thing. While everybody is talking about WWE, I don't see now one goddamn person saying, look at WOW. Look at WOW Women of Wrestling. WOW Women of Wrestling is doing it right. Everybody is so focused on WWE. Here is a promotion in WOW. David McClain at the head. Jeannie Buss. She's putting in all the money behind this. She is co-owner of this bad boy. All of the talents on WOW have full healthcare coverage. I don't see now one of you motherfuckers that's going online spreading this news like it's fucking, and Jeannie Buss, that's a heavy fucking name. That is a heavy fucking name for what all her family has done for the sport of professional basketball. Her name carries significant weight. And the fact that she threw her hat into this whole mix, she did something that Dixie Carter, when she was the president and all that of TNA, she did something that not even Dixie Carter could do. She did something that not the McMahon family was able to do. And nobody is talking about that. But we want to put all our eggs and marbles into the WWE, and the self-accountability really needs to come into play where you say, hey, should Vince McMahon, is it? Yes. Yes. Will it maybe change with Hunter and Steph once Vince is gone? We'd have to wait and see. But does Vince McMahon need to own a piece of that self-accountability? Fuck yes, but make no mistake about it, my pretty babies. What do I always tell you on this show? Self-accountability, it goes all around. And at the end of the day, just as guilty as Vince McMahon is for the way he does his practices, that employee that signs up with the WWE is as guilty as well, because ultimately, they're the ones that's putting their name on the dotted line, and they are accepting the terms. They are accepting the terms of that contract. That's something to think about. You know, we always want to, as a society, and I keep noticing that, we always want to point the finger. Oh, it's never about, well, what about you? It's always everybody else's fault. Except for when it counts the most, taking self-accountability. There's definitely blame on the Vince McMahon side, but there needs to also be blame on the talent that agrees to take up that promotion on those terms. That's just something to think about. I never want to get into something that heated again with you guys. I don't know. Maybe it's good for the show. Maybe it helps. But my God, I did not plan on going into that topic that long. And if you notice, that's why I try not to go that whole political spectrum and all that. There's like, if anything, I like to keep that for the Patreon shows where it counts the most. Let's keep it moving along here, because after all, it's WrestleMania week, right? A lot of cool stuff that's going to be going on. And Steven, I know that you've been checking out the show for a while, and I do appreciate you as a longtime listener, and I give you a lot of credit. You know, you're cool. You're definitely cool. Like I always tell people, if you are a longtime listener of the show, I don't give a fuck if you have your own show. What, am I supposed to say yay? I don't give a fuck about that. I know plenty of other people that have their own respected show. That's not the point. The point is, if you really mean well by somebody that, you know, hey, I check out your stuff. Okay, so you're a fan of the content. Okay, well, if you're a fan of the content, then you should not only just be following somebody on social media just to be following, you should be following them because you like them and you want to interact with them. You don't follow people just to be following them so you just look good and you hope that they give you a follow back and it boosts your... No, I'm sorry, I don't do that shit. My mentality has always been follows are gained. They're earned. They're earned, right? That's always been my mentality, right? But yeah, Steven, I've always appreciated you. You've always done pretty solid in my book. Hopefully, you're part of the Discord family. If not, then you need to get at me on Twitter, and we'll definitely hook you up with that as well. I did not mean to go all into that topic. I really didn't, because I'm just looking at some of the other stuff that is left. Let me see how we're doing on recording time. I wanted to have this show be almost a 2-hour show. By the time I edit it, I may be able to get that. Let me look at how many other topics I got here. Okay, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. Shout out to JoJo. JoJo's been away for a hot minute. It turns out she is expecting. She shared a picture of herself on Instagram. Beautiful, stunningly beautiful. Was it 25 years of age? Stunningly beautiful. Gonna be a first-time mom. Congrats. I sincerely mean that. Congrats. And whoever the baby daddy is, I know everybody is going with the whole Bray Wyatt bullshit. Man, I don't care. At the end of the day, I don't care about their personal lives. The only time I care about a wrestler's personal life is without a shadow of doubt when it's interfering with what they're supposed to be doing in the ring, which is entertaining us, right? Like, for example, Sunny, supposed to be doing this whole farewell tour. She gets arrested again. I was just on this show, my God, it feels like a month ago, saying, hey, Sunny, you know, thoughts, man, hope you can really kick this, whatever you got going on. It's a disease that you got. Hope you can kick its ass finally, and right, just move on, get your life in order. And you know, now she's in trouble again. And you know, I can't keep coming on this show sounding like a broken record over and over again. At some point, you know, and I'm already at that point where a listener could say to me, Lee, I know how much you like Sunny. She got arrested again. All I can say is, yeah, I know. And that's the point that I'm at right now, right? So with regards to a wrestler's personal life, you know, the only time I really care is if it's really interfering with what they're doing in the ring, and they're hurting themselves and they're hurting others as a result, especially their loved ones. That's what I really, that's when I really start to question what exactly is going on in that wrestler's personal life. But to hear sweet, positive things like this, it definitely puts a smile on my face. I think she's going to do all right. I think she's going to do all right. And sincere condolences to the hardcore legend Terry Funk, whose wife had passed away a couple of days ago at the age of 75. They were together for a long, long time. Vicky Funk, you may remember her from the infamous Beyond the Mat documentary back in the 90s there. Love that Beyond the Mat. But they had been married for a long time. They've been married for, my God, I think they got married in 1965. Yeah, that's a long, long time. And in recent years, he's had his own respected health issues. So that's gotta hurt. I can only imagine the pain that he's going through right now. I can only imagine. And it really makes you wonder, how much time does he have left on this earth? Because the old saying, when you have a couple that's been together that long, usually one follows the other. So, you know, I just want to prepare you guys. Don't be too surprised if, you know, maybe in a couple of months, or if maybe a year from now, don't be surprised if something occurs where, you know, we may end up losing Terry Funk as well. I hope we have him around for a couple of more years, quite honestly. But Jim Ross, he said recently on his podcast that he is pretty damn close to inking a new deal with AEW. As you all know, his contract with the WWE had expired last month. What he's not really sure about right now is if he's going to be having a deal as a sports play-by-play announcer, or if he's going to be doing something behind the scenes. Why not both? As far as I'm concerned, why not both? But I'm happy to hear that he's close to doing something with AEW, because despite being he's probably pushing 70. As far as I'm concerned, that mind of his is still sharp. He still has that hunger. He still has that appreciation for the business. Why not capitalize on the talents of one Jim Ross? And to follow up on what I had said a while back, it was a disservice to have Jim Ross under a WWE contract and not properly utilize the man. If there was ever a time to really, Jim, we're here for you, we got you. I thought WWE did a really solid job in working with him after he had lost his wife, Jan. But the ball really should have kept going. They should have gotten him more involved. As far as how they should have utilized him in WWE, they should have definitely utilized him more in being the lead man in original content on the WWE network, right? Hosting a series of new shows, things of that nature. I know slowly but surely they're getting more and more away from the whole DVD production aspect and everything, but they really, really should have utilized him for network specials. I think he would have been phenomenal with that. And it's sad. It's sad that, because it was there. There were so many creative opportunities they could have done with Jim Ross. If you didn't want to have him doing color commentating anymore, totally fine, right? Totally fine. But you definitely could have found something for him to do. And I think with just always trying to stay on top of the game with that network and pumping out new original content, some of that stuff Jim would have been all right for. I think one of the main ideas I had suggested many times over the years, let him come back and let him host a new updated version of Legends of the Wrestling Roundtable. Let him host something like that. So it kind of sucks that, and shout out to Freddie. It kind of sucks that they didn't really do something with him. And then not to mention, there's a couple of projects that Jim Ross has been working on passionately for a couple of years. I remember when we had reviewed the Jim Ross one-man show at DC Improv, he was talking passionately about how he was trying to secure all the rights and everything for telling the story of Mildred Burke, because he wanted to do, if not a miniseries, a movie off of her life. You hear that, and when things had aligned where he was working with the WWE again, I couldn't help but say, well, maybe this go round, something like that is going to come to fruition. But it didn't. And honestly, in working with AEW, I definitely feel that not just with regards to what AEW may need and what he has to offer, but I also feel that with regards to whatever side projects like that of the Mildred Burke story, he would be able to, maybe get some proper backings for those as well. So, it's sad that things ended the way that it did, but, you can't really feel too sad for Jim Ross all those years that he was able to work with freaking the WWE. That's a lot of years. That's a lot of years that he was able to work with the WWE. A lot of good years. And he went out on a high note. He sat down for a special interview of The Undertaker's career. That's going to be part of his whole Undertaker, I guess it's going to be a part of an Undertaker WWE Network special and all that. So you can't really feel too sorry for Jim Ross. See, other than that, what else we got? So that's it. Okay, so at this point, the show has almost been, when I get done editing this, the show is going to be about, and I'm definitely editing that audio part about that heated exchange there that went back and forth. It's like this. It's easy for people, I don't want to rehash this again, but it's easy for some people to just go with one narrative. But when you haven't spent the years of actually being in that position yourself, reading up on contracts and being a really good educated consumer and asking the right questions, when you don't do that, you're going to set yourself up for a major fuck up. Guaranteed every time. Every time. You know? And I'm sorry to our longtime listeners about what had happened earlier there with my exchange. It's just, I saw the narrative that he was trying to put out, and it's like, you know, that's the one thing about RCWR Nation, a majority of our fans. And see, you know, he's trying to be an aspiring podcaster, okay? So, you know, he's still got a long ways to go. He's still got a long ways to go. But always continue to jump out there and obtain all knowledge. Always cover your 5 W's, your who, what, when, where, why. If one person is telling you one narrative, don't just accept that at face value. Educate yourself. Always jump out there and cross-reference. Find out, okay, you know, is that really true? And, you know, so he's got a long way to go. You know, this is not just about getting in front of a microphone and just talking for 90 minutes or 2 hours. It's about knowing what the fuck you're talking about when it's all said and done. And I say that with no venom in my heart whatsoever. There's a lot of stuff that's going to be happening in the New Jersey, New York area this weekend. A lot of shit. So if you're going to be in the area, my God, there's a lot of cool stuff that you're going to be able to get into. And I'm definitely going to be hooking you guys up. I'm actually going to be checking out the Shimmer promotion. I'll be checking out Evolve. I'll be checking out the G1 Supercard as well. Yes, I'm checking out NXT TakeOver. Checking all of that out. The Hall of Fame, the works, all of that. Now, real quick, I just want to give you a rundown on some of the stuff that's going to be happening this week. So Impact Wrestling, they are going to be having on April 4th through April 5th their United We Stand event. This is going to be held in New Jersey. It's going to be Lucha Brothers taking on RVD and Sabu. Also, Ultimate X match, Jake Chris, Johnny Impact, Dante Fox, Pat Buck, Cotto Brazil, Jack Evans. Monsters Ball match, Sami Callihan versus Jimmy Havoc. That should be a damn good one. Also, we got a cage, Moose and Edwards taking on Drago, Daga, Aerostar, and Cuerno. And we've got a intergender match between Tessa Blanchard and Joey Ryan. Also a Knockouts title match, Taya Valkyrie versus Rosemary versus Jordan Grace versus Katie Forbes. That one should be freaking phenomenal. And we have LAX taking on Promosius Dorado. Hopefully I pronounced that right. So all that is going to be going down on April the 4th. Looks like 11 p.m. until... okay, so it's basically going to end at about 1:30 a.m. That's why it's going into the 5th. But United We Stand, that's going to be on April 4th. You guys will be able to check that out. I believe on Fight TV, maybe possibly they'll be streaming it on their Impact channel as well. Also, MLW is going to be having their Rise of the Renegades tapings. This looks pretty solid. Melrose Ballroom, it's going to be Tom Taylor versus Jimmy Havoc. Let's see, what else we got here? Oh, it's going to be at the Melrose Ballroom. Gotcha. So for the MLW World Championship, for the MLW World Championship, Tom Taylor will be taking on Jimmy Havoc. 6-man tables match, Hart Foundation will take on Dynasty. LA Park will take on Pentagon Jr. MJF will be taking on Brian Pillman Jr. Sami Callihan will face Mance Warner. Minoru Tanahaki takes on Daga. Ace Romero faces Joseph Samuel. Rey Fenix takes on Air Wolf. Barrington Hughes takes on Jacob Fatu. Gringo Loco takes on Hero del La Park. And Rey Horace takes on Ace Austin. It's going to be pretty solid so far. Signed to appear thus far, Low-Key, Selena de la Renta, Contra Unit, Myron Reed, Kodo Brazil, Jordan Oliver, Ariel Dominguez. More are scheduled to come as well. Also, we've got Shimmer 113. That's going to be on April 5th. If you can't be there in person, you'll be able to check it out live, or you can check it out when video on demand becomes available. Not seeing some of the matches just yet, but as far as who all is announced, you got the Shimmer champion Nicole Savvy, Shimmer tag team champions Cheerleader Melissa and Latina sensation Mercedes Martinez, Heart of Shimmer champion Dus, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, Undeniable Tessa Blanchard, Hardcore Shaza McKenzie, Chris Wolf, Ballsy Badass, Leva Bates, Bloody Undead Bride, Sue Young, The Lost Girls, Samantha Heights, Zoe Lucas, LuFisto. You know, LuFisto pretty much had said she's going to be wrapping up her final dates, and then that's pretty much it, because, you know, she's been having knee problems and everything. She is badass. I learned new more cool stuff about her. I was interacting with her the other day. Shout out to her. Hope you enjoy that book. It's a good read. You'll like it, trust me. Let's see, Brittany Blake, the Renaissance Woman Hyan, Ashley Vox, Delmy Exo, the Alien Chris Statlander, Jessica Troy, Charlie Evans, Impressive, Indy Hartwell, Steph DeLander, and there's going to be a lot more that's going to be appearing there. And also, April 5th, we've got the Battle Riot 2. That's going to be a Fusion TV taping. It's going to be LA Park taking on Jimmy Havoc. Low-Key will face Dega. Teddy Hart will face Ace Austin. It will be a world middleweight title match. Brian Pillman will face Rich Swann. And then you got Battle Riot match participants that consist of Ace Austin, Ace Romero, Alex Hammerstone, Barrington Hughes, Brian Pillman Jr., Davey Boy Smith Jr., Dega, Harold D. Le Parc, Low-Key, Mance Warner, MJF, Pentagon Jr., Rey Fenix, Sami Callihan, Minoru Tanaki, Teddy Hart, Gringo Loco, Rey Horace, Jimmy Uta, Kodo Brazil, Lance Anoa, Avalanche, Ken Cabriz, Myron Reed, Airwolf, Dan Servin, Jordan Oliver, Michael Patrick, Leo Bryan, Richard Holiday, and Emil Sietok. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Sietok. And then, of course, we've got our three big main events. First off, we got our NXT TakeOver New York. Right now, the way it's looking, we've got a NXT Championship match. 2 out of 3 falls. Johnny Gargano is going to be taking on Adam Cole, baby! That is for the vacant NXT Championship. NXT Women's Championship Fatal 4-Way. Shayna Baszler defends against Kairi Sane, Io Shirai, and Bianca Belair. We got the United Kingdom Championship match. Pete Dunne defends against Walter. Should be pretty damn solid. NXT Tag Titles, War Raiders defends against Aleister Black and Ricochet. And the NXT North American Championship, Velveteen Dream defends the title against Matt Riddle. And we've got the New Japan Pro Wrestling Ring of Honor G1 Supercard. How is that one looking? I'm curious how the matches for this one is looking. Let's see here. I want to know what the final... Thought I had the final matches here. I don't have the matches here. Hang on. There we go. G1 Supercar. Where are we at here? Where are we at here? Is this it? Yep, there we go. I got it. All right, we've got... Let's see, we got Will Ospreay defending the Never Openweight Championship against Jeff Cobb. Jeff Cobb is putting his Ring of Honor TV title on the line as well. It's a winner-take-all. Rush takes on Dalton Castle. Mayu Awani takes on Kelly Klein for the Women of Honor World Championship. Bully Ray takes on Juice Robinson in a New York street fight. See here, we got Dragon Lee versus Bandito versus Ishimori. It's a three-way match for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. Guerrillas of Destiny versus Villain Enterprises versus Evil and Sonata versus the Briscoe Brothers. God damn. It's a winner-take-all fatal four-way tag match for both IWGP Tag Team and ROH World Tag Team titles. That should be a classic one right there. Zack Sabre Jr. faces Hiroshi Tanahashi. It is a singles match for the British Heavyweight Championship. Tetsuya Naito takes on Kota Ibushi, IWGP Intercontinental Championship. Jay Lethal defends his ROH World Championship against Marty Scurll and Matt Tavern. And in the main event match, Jay White defends the IWGP Heavyweight Championship against Make It Rain, Chocolate Rain Okada. Yeah, that's going to be pretty solid. I'm looking forward to that one. And then, of course, we got WrestleMania, which has way too many matches to go over. I'm just kidding. We'll show love to the WrestleMania card lineup. WrestleMania right now, the way it is looking, I know one thing. They announced it repeatedly these past couple of days. So basically, the pre-show begins at 5 p.m. Eastern. The actual show itself begins at 7 p.m. So it's probably not going to go off until 12, maybe 12:30. So yeah, need to prepare. Might want to wear a diaper because, yeah, you may not be able to move at some parts. Who knows? But yeah, they've got, oh my God, they've got 15 matches. 15 matches. Usos takes on Ricochet, Aleister Black, and The Bar. And Shinsuke Nakamura and Rusev. Fatal 4-way for the SmackDown Tag Titles. You got the Women's Battle Royal. Daniel Bryan versus Kofi Kingston for the WWE Championship. Boston Hug Connection takes on the Divas of Doom. Takes on the Iconics. Takes on Nia Jax, Tamina. Fatal 4-way tag match for the Raw Women's Tag Titles. Or, I'm sorry, for the Women's Tag Titles. It doesn't have a brand name attached to it. Roman Reigns takes on Drew McIntyre. Bobby Lashley takes on Finn Balor for the Intercontinental Championship. Samoa Joe takes on Rey Mysterio. Defending his United States Championship is Samoa Joe. You've got the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. AJ Styles faces Randy Orton. Shane McMahon takes on The Miz in a Falls Count Anywhere match. Kurt Angle faces Baron Corbin in Angle's farewell match. Triple H faces Batista. No holds barred match. Remember, if Triple H loses, he must retire from in-ring competition. Buddy Murphy defends his Cruiserweight title against Tony Nese. Ronda Rousey, Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch. Winner takes all triple threat match for both Raw Women's Championship and the SmackDown Women's Championship. And Seth Rollins, Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship. 15 matches. Good God Almighty. Yeah, it's going to be a long, fun night. No doubt about that. So a lot of cool stuff that you're going to be able to get into with regards to this weekend. A lot of stuff. Shout out to Cody in the chat. Cody said, Lee, I checked. Yes, it's actually Bray Wyatt, or I don't care. I'm not being a dick. I don't care who the baby daddy is. Everybody is so infatuated with who the baby. I don't care. I really don't care. That's none of my business. If they shared a picture together and all of that good stuff to acknowledge, God bless them. I really, at this point, I wish them nothing but well. I really do. I really do. I don't care for those logistics. I don't. I don't. It's weird, ain't it? How so many people are just, who's the daddy? 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 It's like, who cares? She's pregnant. Be happy for her. She seems to be happy. That's all that should count, you know? Like, I don't want to concern myself with. Ultimately, I care about what they do in the ring, like I said earlier. There's a lot of cool stuff you guys are going to be able to get into. So my challenge to you guys, for those of you that have been tired of drinking the WWE Kool-Aid as of late, and you're looking for some great alternatives, a lot of the stuff that I just put out there for you guys, even if you can't be there in person, they're going to be streaming it on iPay-per-view, maybe through Fight TV or something like that. And it's rather affordable for your respected budget. So there's a lot of cool alternatives there for you. I mean, look, if you want to just skip out on WrestleMania this year, I don't blame you one little bit. I mean, at least check out the NXT show. I would highly recommend, especially if you already have the WWE Network, then I would just say, go ahead. At least check out the NXT joint and just read about what happened at WrestleMania online to see if you should go back and maybe look at some key moments, right? You know, some people on Daily Motion or whatever, they're probably going to have just the matches separate online for a short period, and you just go in, watch it that way, and be in and out, right? But I definitely would encourage those of you that have been a bit on the fence with, man, it's WrestleMania, right? Check out some of that other stuff that I just mentioned. And that is just some of the promotions that's going to be doing their thing in the New Jersey, New York area. That's just some of the promotions. There's still tons more that's going to be doing pretty reputable ones too. CZW, Rev Pro. There's a lot of other promotions that's going to be doing their thing in the area as well. Not to mention you're going to have WrestleCon as well. So great time to be a wrestling fan, because I mean, it only happens once a year, but there's so many good alternatives that you can just go and sink your teeth into. There's really no excuse, really no excuse. So at this point, what's going to end up happening is this show feels like it's 3 hours. I'm sorry, 2.5 hours. Where are we at here on the recorder? Yeah, so by the time I get done editing this may be about 2 hours, 15 minutes. I'm okay with that. All right. So at this point, what's going to happen, there's going to be a separate audio. It's going to be a Call That Match edition. I'm going to make that be available on YouTube first. And then maybe next day, I'll release it to on-demand and downloads. But we'll cover the WrestleMania and NXT shows. I'll give thoughts, predictions. And then I believe this Friday, is the NXT TakeOver show. That is Friday, April 5th is the NXT TakeOver show. So I'll be live on YouTube and we'll talk about fallout from that event. Saturday is the WWE Hall of Fame show. I will be live on YouTube covering that as well. Both of those will be YouTube and Discord exclusives. And then the WrestleMania show, we're going to be streaming everywhere. We're even going to be streaming on Facebook as well for WrestleMania. All right. So a lot of cool stuff that's going to be coming your way. I did tell you guys I'm going to be checking out Shimmer, MLW. Those will be made Patreon exclusive content only shows. So do sign up, patreon.com/RCWR Show. $5 a month. You get access to bonus audio video content you won't be able to find anywhere else. Shout out to Jock. Shout out to Freddie. Shout out to Cody. Who else we got in here? Shout out to Lee Strack. Who else we got in here? I thought I saw Joe in there earlier. Maybe I'm looking at an earlier post. I might be. Shout out to all of you guys. And that is going to do it. Wishing all of y'all to be safe. Most importantly, be kind to one another. I will see you in just a little bit. Ta-ta for now.